Okay, so the average price of gas is now above $4 a gallon. That's the average. Drive around town a little bit, you get 419, 439, 449. I have many different things to talk about here this morning regarding gas and gasoline prices. Obviously, the major concern here is we've still got a war being waged in Ukraine, and we'll follow that, of course, as closely as we can. Anything and everything that happens, we'll pass it along to you. More civilians have been killed here in the last 24 hours. The fighting has subsided as there is sort of a pseudo ceasefire as the Russians are allowing some of the civilians to try to evacuate. But I'm sure it's just a matter of time before they begin to shell again and fighting ramps up. But people were sending me pictures yesterday, $4.49 a gallon, $4.79 a gallon. Obviously, in California, some of the prices are $6 and $7 a gallon. First thing I want to ask is gas stations and oil companies. There's no way that the impact of the price was that quick. What happened does not correlate to the instant increase in gasoline prices. Impossible. So we're being gouged. And I don't think any of our local politicians have had much to say about that. I don't mean local. I mean our statewide politicians. I don't think any of our state reps or state senators can do much about that. Maybe they can. I don't think they can in that situation. But where's Joe Courtney? Where's Dick Blumenthal? Where are some of the other statewide leaders to call for some kind of either an investigation or a slowdown? How is it possible that a shell hits in Ukraine on a Monday afternoon and my gas price goes up 30 cents within the next hour? Somebody needs to explain that to me, because the gas that's still in the tank, in that tank at that gas station, it should cost the same until it's out. But they don't work like that because they're gouging us. And I'm not really sure exactly what can be done about that. Now, the next round of gas, the next time a tanker rolls up to your Exxon or your Shell and they fill the underground tank with gasoline, okay, now you've got something different. Now there's something maybe a little bit askew, if you will, or higher prices will come of that. I get that. But today, why does it cost me more money, to the tune in some cases 50, 60 cents more per gallon, when nothing in that tank that tank at that gas station changed? Not one thing. Because they're gouging us. It's a gouge. So gas prices now have gone over $130 a gallon. Excuse me, a barrel. $130 a barrel. Now, there was some reports yesterday, some quote-unquote experts say, do not be surprised if this war continues, that you see the price of a barrel of oil topping $300. During Trump's run, I said this yesterday, the price of a barrel of oil was under $50 for a while. So it's 6 times as expensive. Okay. I'm sure my liberal buddies, my progressive friends will say we're in a different situation. Yes, we are. No question about that. We're in a different situation. And I'm not even going to say it wouldn't have happened. I don't know what would have happened had a different person been in office. I will say this. At $300 a barrel, the price of gasoline would be somewhere north 10 or 11 and change per gallon. How does your life change if when you fill up your truck, it costs you $200? And if you drive a lot, you got to fill up your truck a couple times a week. How does that change? Right now, there was an estimate that at the current price, right where it sits right now, at $4 a gallon, the typical household would spend $2,000 more a year in gas and energy, oil, gas, what you put in your tank at home, what you put in your tank in the car. $2,000 extra dollars at $4 a gallon. Extrapolate that out if we're paying $10 a gallon. Nobody can afford that. Nobody can afford that. And the progressives will get exactly what they want. You will stop driving. Now, don't think for 1 second that your president, your current president, your commander-in-chief, he is a traitor to this country. He's a flat-out traitor. The thought that you are not going to attempt to ramp up production in this country, either by executive order or somehow making it the incentives wildly superior to what our gas companies and oil companies would sell their oil to other countries. We make it that way here, or you use executive privilege and power to spin things and force some of these companies to actually produce oil that we can consume here in this country, because now it's a national security issue. But when you're a traitorous president, and when you're thinking about making deals with Venezuela and Iran instead of opening up different areas in this country in a case of a national emergency, in a case of national importance, you're a traitor. You're treasonous. That's an act of treason to me. There's absolutely no reason why Joe Biden would want to sit down and talk with Iran or Venezuela instead of talking to oil-producing companies in this country to try to figure out a way around what we've got going on right now around the world. If you're a leader of men, you call all of the United States oil-producing companies. You get them in a room and you say, what do we got to do to fix this? I do not want to be beholden to Russia or any other country for that matter for the production of our energy, period. And you could still have your pipe dream of everyone driving around with wind power. Fine, you want to have that dream, have it. But right now, in the here and now, you've got to sit down and you've got to figure out what's going on, because nobody in this country can spend $10 for a gallon of gas. Nobody. You want to talk about a treasonous move? That's it. You know, in the last 2 years, what has happened in this country, when you go to COVID, the election, and this has been a disgrace. We were at one point, we were sailing along. Business was good. People's confidence was high. America was on a trajectory of an actual production and success. And then this man-made virus from Wuhan was unleashed on the world. Everybody hit under the table. The economy came crashing down. As a result, we lost a president who, again, not my favorite person, but certainly a president that I put more trust in than this absolute monster in the White House right now. And what happened? You've got a world that's on the brink of war, not a country on the brink of war. World on the brink of war. You've got an energy situation which could escalate out of control in a hurry. Now, can you imagine spending $10 for a gallon of gas? I lived in Europe before. I lived in Amsterdam. It was like, at that time when I was going there, I was driving this tiny car. They gave me a car for the team that I was playing on. Gave me this really tiny car, $8 a gallon. That's what it turned out to be. They did it by liter. I could never really do the transfer, but it turned out to be like $8 a gallon that they were paying. Then, that's 20-something years ago. And it was impossible, right? But those cars got like 70 miles to a gallon, so it wasn't such a horror show. But if you're driving around in a pickup truck for construction, for work, or you're delivering bread, or you're delivering whatever, or you're a regular tractor trailer driver, what the hell are you going to do at $10 a gallon? It's going to cost us $10 for a loaf of bread. And this is on the back of the leadership, because they don't ever think out of the box. There's no inventive thinking. None of it. They're one track. You hear what that moron Kamala Harris had to say yesterday? Oh no, we could do both. We can have clean energy and be energy independent. This is what we could do with it. It's garbage. You come back to me and tell me when I can start my truck on solar power and drive around just like I have gas in it, then we'll talk. Until then, figure out a way to keep the price of a gallon of gasoline from going to $10. Unbelievable where we are. Disgraceful. It's disgraceful. All right, we'll get to a lot of different stuff today. I'll come back in just a couple of minutes. We'll roll through some of the things that are happening. Then Bob Lazari. We've got some interesting things in the world of sports to talk about, too. Stick around. 94.9 News Now, stimulating talk.